He was a canine spirit beast, completely abandoned by the world. But the very first moment I laid eyes on him, I knew I was going to make him my very first contracted pet. The people on the street just shook their heads, pitying me like I was some massive sucker. Even the beast shop owner laughed in my face, saying my IQ was just as low as the Gale hounds. I just smiled and kept my mouth shut. Instead, I sold absolutely everything I owned, and traded it all for a bloodline awakening crystal. I fed it to the hound to unlock the hidden powers in his veins. Right then, a guy from my high school walked out of the shop. Trailing right behind him was a sleek panther, radiating dark mist. A crimson-eyed panther, a basic stage beast with a high-tier bloodline. Its evolution potential is amazing. You see this? The beast I just contracted is a crimson-eyed panther. When the national exams start in 3 days, I could get into Bailing Academy with my eyes closed. And Bailing is the absolute best beast tamer academy in this whole city. Oh, did you seriously contract a Gale hound? So you took the literal trash the shop owner threw out, and you're treating it like a treasure? I didn't even flinch at Sujay's relentless mocking. I just looked at him calmly. You call my Gale hound trash, but I promise you, at the national exams in 3 days, you'll realize just how clueless you really are. Sujay flashed a mocking smirk. Oh yeah? Then tell me, where exactly are you taking this precious Gale hound of yours? Which academy are you applying for? Right at that moment, the system chimed in my head. Ding, mission. Get accepted into Azure Dragon Academy. Reward. 1 dark attribute fusion crystal. I lowered my head, letting my bangs hide my smile. I'm applying to Azure Dragon Academy. Sujay stumbled and almost tripped over his own feet. You're applying to Azure Dragon Academy? Are you completely serious right now? I didn't say a word. Holy crap, you're actually serious. Have you completely lost your mind? Ever since the apocalypse began, and the monstrous beasts invaded, Beast Tamer civilization has survived for 300 years. In those 300 years, hundreds of Beast Tamer academies have been built across the country. But out of all of them, only 4 academies are known as the training grounds for absolute monsters. Azure Dragon Academy, White Tiger Academy, Vermilion Bird Academy, and Black Tortoise Academy. These 4 schools, collectively known as the Big Four. Anyone who gets accepted is a genius among geniuses. You could even call them total freaks of nature. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I headed back to my high school campus. Almost instantly, students and teachers were crowding around to stare at me. Everywhere I went, people were whispering and pointing fingers. Is this guy sick in the head or something? He wouldn't even qualify to scrub the toilets at Azure Dragon. And get this, I heard. He actually contracted a Gale hound. He's taking a Gale hound. To apply for Azure Dragon? Oh man, I can't even. Beefed ha ha ha. Just then, a middle-aged man with glasses marched right up to me. It was my homeroom teacher, Liu Kai. What on earth are you playing at? You're completely out of your depth applying to Azure Dragon. You're just going to make a total fool of yourself. And humiliate this entire school. But Mr. Liu, I've already submitted my application. Mr. Liu took one look at the form, and his face turned absolutely livid. You didn't just apply to Azure Dragon, you actually checked no alternate placements? Hearing that, the entire crowd erupted into a harsh, deafening roar of laughter. No alternate placements? This guy is an absolute freaking legend. This dude is completely doomed, once he fails the Azure Dragon exam. I bet this kid is gonna be the biggest joke of this year's national exams. Just then, a pretty girl walked right up to me. Zhang Lina, the most popular girl at Shanghai and my girlfriend of 2.5 years. Right now, her face was completely ice cold. Her eyes held nothing but indifference and disgust. Let's break up. I didn't feel the slightest ripple of emotion. Okay, Zhang Lina looked a bit caught off guard. She didn't expect me to be so chill. Do you even know why I'm dumping you? Because I'm an embarrassment. Because you think I'll be the biggest joke of this year's national exams. I stated the facts in a deadpan tone. Exactly. Your family has 0 money and 0 power. You contracted a trash-tier Gale hound. And you actually have the nerve to apply to the Azure Dragon Academy? Let me tell you something. A sparrow can't become a phoenix, and a water snake will never turn into a dragon. A clown like you has absolutely no right to be my boyfriend. Completely throwing away our 2.5 years together, Zhang Lina publicly humiliated me, Xiao Xingyu, and stormed off. All the students around us started jeering, treating me like some kind of circus act. Belittled by the homeroom teacher, relentlessly mocked by my classmates, and dumped by my girlfriend. Honestly, I was curious. 3 days from now, all of you pathetic rats. Just what kind of faces will you be making? I muttered to myself, looking down with a cold smirk. Time flew by. 3 days later, national exams were about to begin. Qingfeng City Testing Zone. All candidates, please enter the venue. Looking at the entirety of the Dragon Kingdom, Qingfeng City was just a quiet, unnoticeable little city. The total number of candidates was only 3,000. Yet every year, less than 100 people were ever admitted to this academy. Right now, a massive, highly precise machine towered in the center of the square. This was the device used to test the candidates' spiritual power levels. And an incredibly interesting phenomenon was happening in the square. Because the Blue Loca Academy and the Fire Feather Academy were lower-tier beast taming academies, they had the highest number of applicants. So, massive crowds gathered there. Meanwhile, higher-tier institutions like the 100 Spirits Academy had far fewer applicants, looking pretty sparse and scattered. As for the Azure Dragon Academy, one of the big four, there was exactly one candidate in the entire city of Qingfeng who applied. He stood completely alone, face to face with the proctor from the Azure Dragon Academy, Chen Chinian. He reeked of heavy tobacco, but make no mistake, he was a top-tier mentor at the academy. Judging by the 5-star badge pinned to his chest, his rank was a 5-star beast tamer. Chen Chinian and I stood face to face, just staring at each other in silence. The atmosphere was painfully awkward. Xingyu, was it? Hello, sir. Chen Chinian smiled and shook his head. Young man, out of the 3,000 candidates here in Qingfeng City, you are the sole applicant for our Azure Dragon Academy. Over the past 5 years, we've only had 8 candidates from here in total. The result? Not a single one was accepted. And after those 8 candidates failed out, it couldn't get into any other academy, either. Chen Chinian's intention was glaringly obvious. He wanted me to back down before things got ugly. Sir, I am going to be the very first candidate from Qingfeng City to be accepted by the Azure Dragon Academy. Chen Chinian let out a heavy sigh. Hey, our Azure Dragon Academy only trains the absolute best of the best. And how do you know that I'm not the absolute best of the best? Chen Chinian suddenly felt that this handsome young man standing before him was quite interesting. At this time, the examiners from the other beast taming academies began announcing the candidates' results one after another. Wang Yanhong, spiritual power level, 352. Contracted beast, frost frog. Exam passed. Awarded the admission letter to Ice Moon Academy. Next, Lu Xiaobei, spiritual power level, 250. Contracted beast, flamingo. Beginner stage, common bloodline. Spiritual power does not meet the standard. Exam failed. The examination is divided into 2 parts. The first is the spiritual power test. The second is the beast bloodline quality test. A spiritual power level of 300 is the passing mark. For the beast bloodline, a common quality is considered passing. If a candidate can't even reach the passing marks, then even if they applied to the absolute worst beast taming academy in the country, they wouldn't get an admission letter. As time went on, most of the candidates finished their exams. Those who were done all gathered around to watch me. Seeing this, Chen Chinian smiled and asked, "Why is everyone crowding around you?" "You know why, right? They're waiting for me to make a fool of myself." Hearing this, Chen Chinian scrutinized the young man before him once again. Faced with the mockery and boos from the crowd, I didn't even flinch. This kid is only 18 years old, yet his mind is so mature and steady. Could he really be an uncut gem? Right at that moment, the broadcast announced the news of Su Jie and Zhang Lina passing their exams. Su Jie had successfully gotten into Qingfeng City's premier institution, Veiling Academy. Zhang Lina's talent was slightly lower, but she still got accepted by Lanji Academy. One was my mortal enemy who constantly bullied me, and the other was the ex-girlfriend who had just dumped me. These two were also standing right there in the crowd, eager to see Xiao Xingyu become a laughingstock. They waved their admission letters at me, showing off. From now on, when you see this young master, you better bow down and pay your respects. You hear me? Who are you calling a commoner? If I pass this exam, I'll become a beast tamer too. As soon as I said those words, it was met with even louder bursts of laughter. Su Jie laughed so hard his stomach hurt. You really won't shed a tear until you see your own coffin, will you? Just with that pathetic Gale hound of yours. You actually think you can pass Azure Dragon Academy's exam? Keep dreaming. I raised an eyebrow and smirked. Wanna make a bet? If I get accepted into Azure Dragon Academy, you get on your knees and call me daddy. Su Jie sneered viciously. Fine, you're on. But if you don't get into Azure Dragon Academy, then you get on your knees and shine my shoes. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, the bet was set. There was no backing out for either of us. I turned around and walked back to Chen Chinian. Examiner, I'm ready. Chen Chinian warned me. Student Xiao, let me be very clear. The admission requirements for our Azure Dragon Academy are extremely strict. Your spiritual power level must reach 800, and the quality of your beast's bloodline cannot be lower than elite. Normally, spiritual power levels range from 300 to 500. Anyone scoring over 500 is considered a highly talented prodigy, but the passing line for Azure Dragon Academy is a staggering 800. Throughout the entire history of Qingfeng City, there has never been a single candidate with a spiritual power level exceeding 800. Inferior, common, advanced, elite, epic, legendary, mythic, divine, and creation. These are the 9 major tiers of beast bloodline quality. Azure Dragon Academy's requirement for the bloodline is at least elite quality. It is exactly these 2 exceptionally harsh admission criteria. Azure Dragon Academy rejects 99% of applicants nationwide, Mr. Proctor. But even so, I'm not backing down from this exam. You may begin. Chen Chinian gave a nod. Alright, the assessment begins. Candidate Xiao Xingyu from Shangnan High School. First test spiritual power. I walked up to the spirit tester and placed my right hand on the sensor pad. Now, channel your inner spirit. I did exactly as instructed. The crowd watched with pure disdain. Their relentless mocking never stopped for a second. I took a deep breath and pushed out every ounce of spiritual power inside me. The numbers on the screen started ticking wildly. It broke 300. Wow, didn't expect this kid to actually hit the passing mark. Relax, there's no way he's breaking 400. Holy crap, how did it just jump to 500? Hey, if he breaks 600, I'll livestream myself eating crap. 600, oh my god, the spirit level kept climbing, with everyone's eyes glued to the screen. The numbers on the tester were surging like crazy. In just 10 seconds, Xiao Xingyu's spirit level had shattered the 700 mark. You have to understand a spirit level of 700 is already enough to get into the country's top-tier beast tamer academies. 800, he actually broke 800. This kid is insane. The terrifying part was the number was still climbing. Unbelievable, the machine has to be broken, right? Chen Xinian stared intently at the monitor too, his expression shifting subtly. Good lord, he broke 900. Finally my spirit level locked in at 1208. Candidate Xiao Xingyu, spirit level, 1208. Chen Xinian announced, his eyes flickering with astonishment. First test passed. That was an absolutely terrifying score. The entire hall went dead silent. The people who were just mocking me stood there, jaws on the floor. Especially Su Jie. After a moment of absolute silence, the crowd erupted. Breaking the 1000 mark? This guy is a freaking monster. I remember when Yi Shuangming took the national exam, her score was 1210. Xiao Xingyu's score is 1208, that's only 2 points lower than Yi Bingming. The crowd was buzzing with shock, but my face remained completely expressionless. Because everything went exactly as I expected. My eyes are the eyes of the demon god. They give me a natural spirit boost, and I can actually increase my power by absorbing negative emotions from the world around me. A staff member hurried over to Chen Xinian. Mr. Chen, there's an issue I need to report. During Xiao Xingyu's spirit test just now, there was a slight glitch with the machine. So, Chen Xinian narrowed his eyes. So what? Xiao Xingyu's actual score is 1212. Chen Xinian's pupils shrank in shock. He looked back at me standing not far away. This kid's spirit level is actually 2 points higher than that genius monster from the Yi family? Recovering from his shock, Chen Xinian gave his orders. Keep the machine glitch strictly confidential. Do not let this out. But Mr. Chen, is that really a good idea? Since when does the Azure Dragon Academy's word mean nothing? Not daring to offend the Azure Dragon Academy, the staff muttered their agreement. Chen Xinian composed himself and announced, Second test, Beast Bloodline Quality Assessment. Everyone's eyes focused on me once again. Examinee Xiao Xingyu, please summon your beast. After forming a contract, the back of every beast master's right hand will display a pentagram crest. I raised my right hand, and my beast crest flashed with a golden light. Black Fang, you're up. A blood contract magic circle appeared on the ground, and a massive dark shadow filled everyone's vision. Holy shit, what kind of beast is that? I've never seen that before. Didn't they say his beast was a Gale hound? What the hell is this giant black wolf? At this moment, standing right beside me was a massive beast. The size of a heavy-duty truck. Its body was covered in thick black fur, and every single strand looked like a burning black flame. Red-hot chains were wrapped tightly around its 4 limbs. On top of that, there was a fissure on its forehead, looking just like a razor-sharp sword. The giant wolf let out a deafening roar, and black flames swept across the entire testing arena. The terrified onlookers cried out and scrambled backward. A string of data popped up on the beast tester's display. Name: Hellfire Gale Wolf. Level: Initial Stage. Bloodline: Hell Bloodline. Quality: Epic. Talent: Hellfire. Inflicts true damage on enemies, completely ignoring armor defenses. When the Hellfire Gale Wolf's basic stats were announced, the entire arena was left in absolute shock. Everyone's faces were painted with disbelief and astonishment, because no one had ever seen a beast like this before. Even if you flipped through the Ultimate Beast Encyclopedia co-authored by multiple 9-star beast masters, you wouldn't find a single trace of the Hellfire Gale Wolf. Is this giant wolf's bloodline really epic quality? Su Jie stared, his bloodshot eyes filled with intense jealousy and hatred. The Hellfire Gale Wolf sat obediently beside me, its burning hellfire turning the testing arena into a literal roasting oven. Chen Xinian stayed silent for a long time before finally speaking up. Examinee Xiao Xingyu has passed the assessment. Issue the Azure Dragon Academy acceptance letter, and grant the 1-star Beast Master badge. Under the watchful eyes of the entire city, I took the Azure Dragon Academy acceptance letter from Chen Xinian's hands. Chen Xinian raised his hand and pinned a single-star badge onto my chest. From this moment on, I was officially a 1-star Beast Master, and a freshman at the Azure Dragon Academy. Student Xiao, here is your Azure Dragon Academy uniform. Put it on. The uniforms of the 4 major academies featured a long robe design, commonly known as the Beast Master robe. The Azure Dragon Academy's robe was entirely cyan, with an Azure Dragon emblem on the back. I threw the robe over my shoulders, adding a touch of heroic dominance to my already handsome face. My name is Chen Chinian, an instructor at the Azure Dragon Academy. From now on, just call me Instructor Chen. Instructor Chen, could you step aside for a sec? You're blocking my interview shots. Alright. Chen Chinian took a step back, and I was immediately swarmed tightly by a mob of reporters. Student Xiao, how exactly did you manage to contract an epic bloodline beast? That? Honestly, anyone with hands could pull it off. Student Xiao, your spiritual power score is only 2 points lower than the genius girl, Yi Shuangming. What are your thoughts on this? Yi Shuangming? Who's that? Sorry, I don't know who you are. Getting into the Azure Dragon Academy, you must be feeling pretty proud and happy right now, huh? Just business as usual, no need to make a big deal out of it. In an instant, I was trending #1 nationwide. The genius boy, Xiao Xingyu, makes a groundbreaking debut. His talent rivals Yi Shuangming, the Hellfire Gale Wolf, an undocumented beast missing from the beast-taming bestiary. The genius monster rankings have been updated. I ranked 24th. Chen Chinian scrolled through the trending news about me and gave a satisfied smile. I think I actually found a hidden gem in this talentless wasteland. I was the first and only student in the history of Qingfeng City to ever be accepted into the 4 great academies. Chen Chinian walked up to me. On the day of enrollment, I'll be waiting for you at the Azure Dragon Academy. After Chen Chinian left, I was just about to share the good news with my sister, Xiao Ruoshui, when I suddenly shot a playful look over at Su Jie. Su Jie had completely dropped his usual arrogant attitude. Xingyu, bro, congratulations, man, getting into the Azure Dragon Academy is huge. Even if Su Jie was a rich kid in this world, power is absolutely everything. He was now a nationally recognized genius, and a freshman at the Azure Dragon Academy. My future was limitless. Su Jie would be stuck in this small city for the rest of his life. Compared to me, he was just a frog at the bottom of a well. Oh, right, what about our little bet? Do you still remember it? Su Jie's face went completely pale. Come on, we're classmates. The bet was just a joke. Don't take it so seriously, man, kneel down. I softly spat out those 2 words, but the sheer pressure made Su Jie buckle, a cold sweat breaking out across his forehead. He dropped to both knees, completely swallowed by resentment, but he didn't dare make a sound. He was terrified of my new status and power. From the exact moment I received that acceptance letter to the Azure Dragon Academy, every single person in this city, even the mayor himself, had to show me the utmost respect. According to our bet, aside from kneeling, there's one more thing you have to do. Daddy. The moment that word left Su Jie's mouth, he looked completely dead inside. His dignity was utterly crushed. I flashed a deeply satisfied smile. Very good, but I don't have a worthless son with a spiritual power level under 600. Even humiliated to the core, Su Jie still didn't dare to step out of line. Right then, my high school classmates and alumni all swarmed over to me. The very same people who were sucking up to me right now were the exact same ones who used to mock and humiliate me. Those once vile, disgusting faces were now plastered with sickeningly sweet, fake smiles. Standing timidly in the crowd was a girl, Zhang Lina, my ex-girlfriend. Xingyu, honestly, over these past 2.5 years, I've always had deep feelings for you. So is it possible that we could get back together? I gave her a perfectly innocent smile. Is that the kind of attitude you used to beg for me back? Hearing this, Zhang Lina completely threw away whatever pride she had left. She dropped right to her knees in front of me, crying her eyes out. Xingyu, please, I'm begging you, I know I was wrong. Let's get back together. I coldly swatted her hand away, my voice dead and emotionless. You were the one who wanted to break up. What the hell are you crying for now? The scene completely froze in that moment. The woman kneeling on the ground was just a nobody. A freshman at some low-tier beast-taming academy, doomed to rot in this small city forever. But the tall, imposing man standing before her wasn't just a freshman at the Azure Dragon Academy. He was a super genius, standing at the absolute pinnacle of national attention. In the future, I'll become the backbone of this country, a great hero in the eyes of the people. The heavy rain washed over Zhang Lina's face as she watched my back slowly fade into the distance. She finally realized she hadn't been worthy of this man for a long time. I left the exam center and stepped onto the road home. Along the way, I couldn't help but show a rare, childlike smile. Once I get home, when my sister sees this Azure Dragon Academy acceptance letter in my hand, her jaw will absolutely drop. Beside me, the Hellgale Wolf followed closely, letting out joyful howls. Honestly, looking into the Hellgale Wolf's eyes, you could still see the goofy shadow of a husky. That's right, this incredibly badass tamed beast used to be just a cheap Galehound I picked up outside a beast shop. I used a Bloodline Awakening crystal to activate the hidden bloodline inside it. After awakening, it turned into the Hellgale Wolf it is today, and helped me breeze right through the national exam. Ding! The system prompt rang in my head. Congratulations to the host, awarding 1 Dark Attribute Fusion Crystal. This can help a tamed beast fuse with the Shadow attribute. Right now, the Hellgale Wolf has 2 attributes in total, fire, and wind. Once it fuses with the shadow attribute, it'll become a triple attribute beast with limitless potential. Blackfang, you're the very first beast I contracted. Until I contract a second beast, every single good thing I get will go straight to you. The Gale wolf happily circled around me, its tail, burning with black flames, sticking straight up into the air. Bing! System shop has been unlocked. The system shop interface floated right before my eyes. Inside the shop, it sold all kinds of rare treasures and monster cores to help beasts evolve. My current account balance is 300 points. But even the absolute cheapest item, the Fire Spirit Herb, costs 800 points. Haste makes waste. I'll just have to save up slowly. A low-rent housing complex in the far suburbs of Qingfeng City. This is where Xiao Ruoshui and I call home. With no parents, we brother and sister rely on each other to survive. We can only afford to live in this area jokingly called the slums. Blackfang, our house is just up ahead. Wait, what's going on? The smile on my face instantly froze. Just a short distance away was our housing complex. But right now, the entire neighborhood was engulfed in a sea of flames. On the ruined streets, the air was filled with people's terrified screams, and a thick stench of blood hung heavy in the air. Run! A monster is attacking. Help! A giant poisonous scorpion has invaded the neighborhood. It was a beginner-level monster, a poison-tailed demon scorpion. But even though beginner level was the lowest rank, to ordinary, unearned humans it was no different from the Grim Reaper itself. The poison-tailed demon scorpion bared a bloodthirsty sneer as its razor-sharp stinger pierced through one human body after another. Then, it tossed them into its mouth and slowly chewed. Even though this disaster had already caused multiple casualties, there wasn't a single rescue worker in sight, because this was the far suburbs. The people living here were just desperately poor folks, living meal to meal. The city had a limited number of beast tamers, and they were mostly stationed in the city center and wealthy districts. As for the slums in the outskirts, no one cared about this place. Just as an apartment building was about to collapse, a woman in her 20s stumbled out. Although she dressed very simply, she had a breathtakingly beautiful face, and her silver hair cascaded down her shoulders like a waterfall. This silver-haired beauty was Xiao Xingyu's older sister, Xiao Ruoshui. Meanwhile, a little girl accidentally tripped while running for her life. Xiao Ruoshui rushed over and quickly helped the little girl to her feet. Are you hurt, big sister? Thank you. Right at that moment, a massive, terrifying shadow completely enveloped them both. Xiao Ruoshui pulled the little girl into a tight embrace and whipped her head around. The razor-sharp stinger of a venom-tailed scorpion was dangling less than 3 feet from her face. Big sister, are we gonna die? The little girl whimpered, trembling as she curled up in Ruizu's arms. Seeing the absolute terror on the child's face, the venom-tailed scorpion grew even more frantic with bloodlust. Toxic, green smoking drool dripped from its jaws. Ruoshui furrowed her brow, as her pupils slowly narrowed into vertical slits. You see, in the entire world of beast taming, only pure-blooded dragon-type beasts possess slitted eyes, just as they were inches from death. An earth-shattering wolf howl ripped through the air. With a massive crash, the scorpion was slammed hard into the dirt. Its thick armored shell was ripped wide open by savage claws. The panicked crowd instantly whipped their heads in the same direction. Silhouetted against the setting sun, a teenage boy stood tall, draped in the official tamer's robe of the Azure Dragon Academy. Beside him stood a colossal wolf, its entire body engulfed in roaring black flames. Wait, isn't that Xiao Yu? That kid actually became a beast tamer? And he's wearing the Azure Dragon Academy robe. Oh my god, I remember when this little brat used to climb the wall to peek at me taking a bath. And now look at him, making something of himself. Having my dark childhood secrets blasted out loud, I rubbed my nose in pure, agonizing embarrassment. Ahem, Auntie Wong, I am begging you please do not bring up my childhood right now. I'll have you know I'm a nationally recognized prodigy now. I have a reputation to uphold. Xiao Yu? Ruizu's eyes fluttered, her pupils snapping back to normal. She stared at me, her completely familiar, yet suddenly entirely different little brother, with pure bewilderment. Hey, sis, I actually made it into the Azure Dragon Academy. Let me introduce you. This is my very first contracted beast. Hellstorm Wolf. I call him Blackfang. With a sharp howl, Blackfang chimed in. Hello, big sister. It is a pleasure to finally meet you. I hope we get along well. Wow, you are absolutely gorgeous. Ruizu's eye twitched violently. It literally just barked once. How did you translate all of that? Wait, the monster isn't dead yet. Everyone, get back. Shaking off the blow, the venom-tailed scorpion started to slowly drag itself up from the dirt. Nasty, neon green blood was gushing relentlessly from its open wounds. Sis, you just sit back and catch your breath. I'm gonna go finish this ugly freak off. Whenever I looked at my sister, my face naturally lit up with a warm, gentle smile. But the second I turned to face that monster, my eyes went dead cold, radiating pure, suffocating bloodlust. Feeling my murderous intent, the Hellstorm Wolf unleashed a deafening, savage roar straight at the scorpion. The scorpion scrambled backward, visibly trembling in absolute terror. This was the true power of bloodline suppression. Sure, level-wise, both the Hellstorm Wolf and the Scorpion were just at the beginner tier. But the difference in their actual bloodlines was astronomical. The Scorpion was just a common grade mutt. Meanwhile, my Hellstorm Wolf possessed a legendary epic grade bloodline. That massive genetic gap stripped the Scorpion of any shred of courage it had left. As it watched the wolf slowly stalk toward it, it completely wet itself, turned tail, and scrambled to run for its miserable life. Think you can run? You wrecked my hometown, you hurt my neighbors, and you dare terrify my sister? Go to hell. I roared the command, and the Hellstorm Wolf snapped its massive, bloodthirsty jaws wide open. Unleashing its ultimate move with a deafening roar, Gale blasts a massive pillar of black fire, the intense heat distorting the very air around it. This is the Gale Wolf's signature ultimate Hell's Roar. Hellfire completely ignores enemy armor, dealing direct true damage. The terrifying wave of flames pierces right through the poison-tailed demon scorpion like a giant sword. After what feels like an eternity, the blistering heat finally fades. In the shattered ruins, the scorpion has been reduced to nothing but a charred lump of coal. Just then, the system chimes in. Ding! Congratulations, host, on slaying a magical beast. Rewarded. 1 bottle of insight enhancement potion. Once a tamed beast drinks this potion, its insight skyrockets, allowing it to learn advanced combat skills way beyond its current level. Even if it's only at the rookie stage right now, it can bypass level restrictions to master skills that are normally reserved for champion or ultimate stage beasts. Meanwhile, the entire area falls dead silent. I calmly walk over to the scorpion's corpse and pick up a glowing green crystal core. It's just a rookie tier poison core, so it's not worth much. But hey, for someone who just became a beast tamer, every little bit helps. I casually toss it over to the Gale Wolf. He catches it in his mouth and swallows it whole. Now, normally, since the Gale Wolf is primarily a fire-type beast, eating a poison core would trigger a nasty physical rejection, or even poison him. But his hellish bloodline makes him incredibly unique. He's completely immune to toxins, so eating this poison core won't cause any backlash at all. In fact, it actually makes him stronger. Listen up, everyone, the monster is dead. You're all safe now, I declare, planting my foot firmly on the scorpion's burnt carcass. The charred remains crumble into ashes and scatter in the wind. Seeing this, the crowd bursts into tears of absolute relief. Oh, thank God, we actually survived. Xiao Yu, you're a true hero, Dar District 743. We're so proud of you. These neighbors had watched me grow up since I was just a toddler in split pants. I don't know when it happened, but that little brat who loved climbing the wall to peek at Widow Wang's bath had already grown into a young beast tamer fighting to protect our home. I didn't let myself get lost in everyone's cheers and gratitude. Instead, I walked over to Xiao Ruoshui. Sis, you've been frowning this whole time. I got accepted into the Azure Dragon Academy. Aren't you happy for me? Xiao Ruoshui spaced out for a second, then quickly pulled herself together, forcing a small smile. I'm happy, of course your big sister is happy for you. I'm incredibly proud, too. My sister was definitely acting weird today. She was clearly forcing that smile. It seemed like she had a problem with me becoming a beast tamer. Or maybe I was just overthinking it. We looked at each other and smiled, both hiding our true thoughts. Just then, a little girl tugged at my sleeve. Brother Xingyu, when I grow up, I want to be a beast tamer just like you. I crouched down and gently pinched her cheek. I know you'll be an amazing beast tamer. But before that, you need to eat well and grow up big and strong, okay? I pulled out a piece of buttered bread and placed it into her hands. The little girl's mother stood nearby, covering her mouth as tears streamed down her face. Guilt was written all over the mother's face. It had been a long time since she could afford to give her child a full meal. That single piece of buttered bread was a painful reminder of how the poor live like mere ants in this harsh era. I didn't feel pity for them, because in this day and age, it was all about the survival of the fittest. The strong never complain about their circumstances. So, what I gave to Josiah wasn't just bread. It was encouragement. Brother Xingyu, thank you, just wait until I grow up. I'm going to try for Qinglun Academy 2.0, really? By the time you get accepted into Azure Dragon Academy, I might just be the principal there. I patted Josiah on the head. As night fell, a massive rainstorm swallowed Qingfeng City. Down by the sea, the waves were towering. 2 glowing red shadows surfaced on the water, the eyes of a water-type magical beast. At an express hotel, Xiao Yu, isn't staying in a hotel a bit too extravagant, sis? Azure Dragon Academy offers scholarships. We can't afford to buy a house right now anyway, but staying in a hotel for a few days is totally fine. Actually, we didn't really have a choice, since our old low-rent apartment complex was completely destroyed by a poison-tailed demon scorpion. Lying on the bed, I stretched lazily and said, Sis, we still have 1 week before school starts. Let's just stay here for the week. Freshman beast tamers don't get a summer break, because all the major beast taming academies start classes in just 1 week. Late that night, I was fast asleep, snoring away, completely unaware of the dark silhouette creeping toward me. That person was my sister, Xiao Ruoshui. Stepping quietly to my bedside, She pulled back my blanket and carefully unbuttoned my pajamas. On my back was a faint, unremarkable birthmark. The dragon mark forbidden curse is still there. The seal hasn't loosened at all. Then how on earth did Xiao Yu manage to contract a beast? How did he become a beast tamer? This doesn't make any sense. Gently tucking her brother back in, Xiao Ruoshui slipped out of the hotel alone and found a payphone. Hello? Xiao Yu, he's become a beast tamer. And he even got accepted into Azure Dragon Academy. A long, heavy silence hung on the other end of the line before a voice finally replied. It seems this is fate's arrangement. Just stay close to Xiao Yu and watch over him. Oh, and one more thing. When you get to Azure Dragon Academy, give Xiao Yu a subtle warning. Make sure he remembers. He can date whoever he wants, but tell him to stay the hell away from the women of the Yi family. After all, the Yi family and us. Xiao Ruoshui nodded slowly. I understand. I'll keep a close eye on him. A week flew by in a flash. It was finally registration day. My sister and I boarded the train at the Qingfeng City railway station. The platform was dotted with a few media reporters. But mostly, it was packed with our old neighbors. Everyone had come out to see the Xiao siblings off. Xiao Yu, take this basket of salted duck eggs with you. You've loved these ever since you were a little kid. And here, this is some money we all chipped in for. It's not much, just a few $100. Just a little token of our care. You little rascal. Once you make it big out there, don't forget to come back and visit us. These neighbors had watched me grow up. The local snacks they brought weren't worth much money. A true kindness like that can never be measured in cash. Waving my final goodbyes, I took my sister's hand and stepped onto the train. With a sharp, piercing whistle, the train slowly pulled out of the station, heading straight toward the morning sun. Soon, we faded completely from everyone's sight. Attention, passengers. Magical beasts often roam along the railway. You may experience some shaking in the carriages. We have now cleared the danger zone. The train is proceeding as normal. Dear passengers, the next stop is Longyan Station. Longyan City, that was exactly where Azure Dragon Academy was located. The moment we stepped off the train, Xiao Ruoshui and I looked exactly like two country bumpkins, staring wide-eyed at everything. Wow, they weren't kidding about this being a big city. Everything looks so incredibly high-tech. In the Dragon Kingdom, cities are strictly divided by rank. The Central Imperial City reigns supreme as the highest-tier city of all. The nation's strongest beast tamer, Shanghuan Lan, is the master of the Central Imperial City. She's also the Empress of the Dragon Kingdom, the most powerful figure in the entire nation. Just below the Imperial City are the 12 royal cities, and Longyan City is one of them. Heavily backed by the government, all its industries are totally high-end. Plus, there are tons of top 50 beast tamer guilds stationed right here. Honestly, if I hadn't made it into Azure Dragon Academy, I probably would have been stuck in that small town of Qingfeng City my whole life. I'd never even get the chance to set foot in Longyan City. Sis, I'm gonna go register at Azure Dragon Academy first. I tapped the beast tamer crest on the back of my right hand. Blackfang, come out. Sensing its master's call, a streak of light shot out from the crest, and my Hellstorm Wolf appeared right beside me. My sister and I rode the Hellstorm Wolf through the streets, arriving at Azure Dragon Academy in less than 10 minutes. The campus sits right in the heart of Longyan City. Looking through the main gates, I could see the senior students busy training their beasts. They were having a practical training class. Meanwhile, the entrance was packed with freshmen here to register. Sis, you and Blackfang wait for me here at the gate. I'll go get the paperwork sorted. I walked into the academy. With the staff's help, I got my enrollment sorted out in no time. Hey there, new student. Head over to that reception desk and find your advisor to grab your dorm key. I walked over to the desk and spotted a familiar face. It was Chen Chinian, the proctor from my entrance exam. Well, if it isn't Xiao. We meet again, Instructor Chen. What a coincidence. I totally didn't expect to be assigned to your class. Year 1, Class 3. Yep, that was my new class. Azure Dragon Academy is a 3-year beast tamer school. As a freshman, I'm obviously in my first year. There are 8 freshman classes in total, and I'm in Class 3. Oh, right. Here, take this key too. Besides my dorm key, Instructor Chen handed me another one. Instructor Chen, what's this for? Right across from the academy's back gate, there's a family apartment complex. It provides free housing for the families of out-of-town students. Hearing that, I was absolutely thrilled. That's awesome. My sister won't have to spend a dime on rent now. Honestly, those family apartments are practically empty. That's because most students who make it into Azure Dragon Academy usually come from pretty powerful backgrounds. They're either filthy rich or deeply connected. Why would their families ever stoop to living in free dorms? So, the only people who actually use them are broke kids from small towns, exactly like me. Anyway, Xiao, go get your sister settled in first. But remember, gather at the school field at 3 p.m. sharp for the freshman opening ceremony. I nodded, turned around, and headed back out the gates. Out front, Xiao Ruoshui and my Hellstorm Wolf were patiently waiting right where I left them. Sis, you don't need to rent a place anymore. The academy actually provides family apartments. Let me take you there. I grabbed my sister's hand, unable to hide the huge grin on my face. After stepping inside the building, I followed the tag on the key and found room 808. I pushed the door open, taking in our new place. The living room was a bit small, but it had absolutely everything we needed. It even had its own private kitchen and bathroom, plus 2 separate bedrooms. To all those rich, powerful families, a place like this might seem like a pigsty. But for Xiao Ruoshui and me, this is a warm and cozy home. Sis, you'll be living right here from now on. We get to stay here rent-free for 3 years. And after 3 years, I'll graduate. By then, I'm gonna be a totally independent, top-tier beast tamer. Then I'll join one of those huge, world-famous beast tamer guilds. I'll make tons of money and buy you a massive mansion. Xiao Ruoshui reached out and ruffled my hair, looking at me with pure affection. You silly boy, I don't need to live in a mansion. Having you by my side forever is more than enough for me. Oh, I heard your freshman welcoming ceremony starts at 3 p.m. I'll go make us some lunch right now. Make sure you eat up before heading to the academy. The fridge was fully stocked with fresh vegetables, meat, and eggs, and the kitchen had absolutely everything we needed. Xiao Ruoshui washed her hands, tied on her apron, and started getting lunch ready. Since I had nothing to do, I wandered out to the intersection down the street. I walked in front. The Hellstorm Wolf trailed right behind me. People on the street couldn't help but stare. Well, what kind of beast is that? I've never seen anything like it. A massive wolf covered in black flames? Hey, didn't that one genius from this year's national exams have one just like that? Yep, his beast was a giant wolf covered in black fire. Honestly, I was trending everywhere online right now. It only took a few second glances for people to recognize me. Suddenly, I stopped right in front of a beast store. Halfling is going through a massive growth spurt right now, so buying him some fire attribute nutritional supplements should really speed up his evolution. I led the Hellstorm Wolf right into the beast store. The shop owner was a stunning, mature woman with a voluptuous figure and a really elegant vibe. She was famous all over Longyan City. Everyone just called her Luo Sananang. Well, hello there, handsome. What can I get for you? Luo Sananang greeted me with a warm smile, her eyes naturally drifting up and down my outfit. All because I was wearing my official Azure Dragon Academy Beast Tamer robes. Hey there, handsome. If you buy anything in the shop today, you get a sweet 12% discount. I took one look at the incredibly alluring Luo Sananang and immediately crossed my arms over my chest in defense. Lady, I am not that kind of guy. Don't even think about making you a sugar baby. Luo Sananang put her hands on her hips and rolled her eyes, absolutely exasperated. What kind of nonsense are you spouting? Clearly, you haven't heard about my spotless reputation. Do I look like some creepy rich cougar trying to buy a boy toy? Well, my sister always says, women in their 30s are like hungry wolves. Women in their 40s are like ravenous tigers. And women in their 50s are like, hey, you little brat, open your damn eyes and take a good look. Do I look 50 to you? Luo Sananang was absolutely furious, her generous chest heaving with every breath. I couldn't help but steal a few extra glances. For the first time in my life, I truly understood the meaning of the phrase turbulent waves. Luo Sananang took a deep breath, trying to calm herself down. Alright, handsome, I haven't seen you around before. You must be one of the new freshmen, right? I nodded my head. No wonder you don't know about our Meow Meow Beast Store's special promotions. Let me break it down for you. Students from the Azure Dragon Academy get a 12% discount. Members of the Azure Sky Guild get a whopping 50% off. And we've got plenty of other deals too, like buy one get one free on special attribute potions. Luo Sananang rambled on and on, but all I actually remembered was the 12% discount for Azure Dragon Academy students. Hey boss, I was thinking. Oh, stop calling me boss. Just Sananang is fine. Everyone in the city calls me San Niang. I'd like to buy a fire-type nutrient serum. Sure thing. The original price is 10,000, but with a 12% discount, it'll only cost you 8,800. I sharply inhaled. The original price was actually 10 grand? As a certified broke guy, my scholarship had to go toward my sister's needs, plus our everyday living expenses. Even discounted to 8,800, I just couldn't bring myself to spend that kind of cash. Seeing the hesitation written all over my face, Luo Sanyang asked, Hey there, handsome. Don't tell me you're flat broke? I shook my head and sighed, thinking how lack of money can crush even the strongest man. This kid can't even afford a single fire-type nutrient serum, asterisk she probably thought. Looks like he's not a local, probably from some sleepy border town, and his beast a giant wolf covered in black flames. I think I've seen it online. Right at that moment, the rumbling sound of thunder echoed from the street outside. A moment later, a striking, fiercely confident young woman walked into the shop. She stood nearly 1.8 meters tall, just a tiny bit shorter than me. Her looks weren't exactly drop-dead gorgeous, but she had the commanding aura of an ancient female general on the battlefield. Trailing right behind her was a massive fox-type beast. The fox had 3 tails, and its entire coat was a brilliant silver. Crackling electricity surged within its pupils, and at the very tip of each tail, hung a violently sparking orb of lightning. Almost purely out of habit, I activated my demon god's eye. Name: Three-tailed Thunderfox. Level: Tier 3, Transcendent Stage. Bloodline: Epic Quality. Attributes: Lightning and Wind types. Skills: Three-tailed Thunderstorm. Sweeps the enemy with all three tails simultaneously, dealing electrocution damage with a bonus 1-second stun and paralysis effect. Thunder Flash, a movement skill, closes in on the enemy with lightning speed to evade incoming attacks, while simultaneously striking the enemy with a bolt of lightning damage. Heavenly Thunder Bomb, accumulates energy to spit out an orb of lightning, inflicting area of effect damage on enemies. Evolution Path: Three-tailed Thunderfox, to Four-tailed Thunderfox, to Five-tailed Thunderfox. Hidden Evolution Path: Three-tailed Thunderfox, to Shadow Crimson Lightning Fox, to Crimson Lotus Lightning Fox. I was the only one who could see that hidden evolution path. Just then, I furrowed my brow, as another set of data popped up. Beast status: manic, suppressed, and confused. Diagnosis: post-traumatic stress disorder. Recommended treatment: suddenly, the three-tailed Thunderfox unleashed a wild surge of electricity. It blasted a nearby display cabinet to the ground and let out an absolutely deafening roar. The shop's entire electrical system completely shorted out, and every single light bulb shattered at once. Seeing this, the other customers panicked and scrambled for the exits. Luo Sanniang frantically screamed, "Oh my god. Miss Chin, please, get your beast under control. I'm trying to run a business here." The master of the three-tailed Thunderfox, the fierce beauty standing right in front of me, was named Qin Yanren. She was the daughter of Qin Longyue, the guild master of the Azure Sky Guild. Across the entirety of Longyan City, there were over a dozen beast tamer guilds, both big and small. In terms of overall power, the Azure Sky Guild was practically at the top, second only to the Hurricane Guild. I glanced at Qin Yanran's chest, where 5 distinct star badges were proudly pinned to her uniform. This is the symbol of a 5-star beast tamer, San Niang. As you can see, my Lulu is sick. The beast doctor we saw last time said it's bipolar disorder. They said as long as we feed her some frost grass, it'll help her calm down. Luo Sanniang rummaged through her cabinets. Frost grass, is it? Let me take a look. Ah, found it. How many stalks do you need? As many as you have. That's the sheer extravagance of the rich for you. A single stalk of frost grass goes for 25,000. Luo Sanniang brought up 20 stalks in total. That's $500,000 right there. To me, that kind of money is an astronomical figure. But for the Azure Guild, where Qin Yanren belongs, they can casually take on a bounty to hunt a fully matured magical beast, and easily rake in millions in commission. Excuse me, miss, your beast isn't suffering from bipolar disorder. Using frost grass will only treat the symptoms, not the root cause. Only then did Qin Yanren notice a handsome young man standing to the side. And you are? Hello, my name is Xiao Xingyu. I'm a freshman at the Azure Dragon Academy. Luo Sanniang paused for a moment before a look of realization washed over her face. I was wondering why you looked so familiar. You're the biggest dark horse of this year's national exam. The one whose initial spiritual power broke past 1,000. And you were only 2 points shy of Yi Xuanming's original score. I scratched my head, feeling a little sheepish. Qin Yanren asked, "You said my Lulu doesn't have bipolar disorder? Are you a beast doctor?" I shook my head. I'm not a beast doctor, but I do know a little bit about veterinary medicine. Looking at this three-tailed lightning fox's appearance, she has a lot of fresh scars on her body, which means she's been fighting magical beasts very frequently as of late. Qin Yanren gave a light nod. That's right. Our guild has taken on a lot of bounty missions recently. There's a massive outbreak of magical beasts over at Skeleton Mountain outside the city. Lulu has taken quite a bit of damage fighting by my side. Alright, go on. I cleared my throat and continued my analysis. Three-tailed lightning foxes are naturally sensitive creatures. If they're injured frequently in battle, their wounds getting infected with demonic aura will trigger a specific kind of illness. This illness isn't bipolar disorder, it's post-traumatic stress disorder. Qin Yanren and Luo Sanniang looked at each other, completely baffled. The hypermanic state this three-tailed lightning fox is experiencing right now is a direct manifestation of post-traumatic stress disorder. If you want to cure her, using frost grass will only treat the symptoms. It won't cure the root of the problem. I have a prescription. If you're willing to trust me, miss, we can give it a try. I put on the aura of a peerless miracle doctor right in front of Qin Yanren. However, a panicked Luo Sanniang quickly leaned in and whispered in my ear, "You foolish boy, this woman is the daughter of the Azure Guild's president. If you mess around with the medicine and make that three-tailed lightning fox's condition worse, you'll be in massive trouble." I, however, just smiled without saying a word, because I had absolute confidence in my own medical skills. Qin Yanren stared at me and asked, "Are you entirely sure you can cure my Lulu?" I nodded with total confidence. "Alright then, I'll trust you this once. Write out the prescription." Qin Yanren didn't quite understand why either, but seeing me for the first time gave her a natural sense of familiarity. She found herself subconsciously choosing to trust this young man. Of course, it was also because Qin Yanren had already spent a fortune hiring several different beast doctors. And none of them had managed to root out the three-tailed lightning fox's illness. Running into me this time, she figured she might as well take a blind leap of faith. Sanniang, please prepare the medicine according to my prescription. Luo Sanniang picked up a pen and paper. 1 stalk of soul-soothing flower. Crush it up, and steep it in boiling water. Add 1 bottle of lightning attribute catalyst, and then, a fully matured water attribute monster core. Wait for it to dissolve and for the final step. I rattled off the instructions, and Luo Sanniang jotted everything down on a piece of paper. She gathered the ingredients and mixed the formula exactly as prescribed. A few minutes later, Qin Yanren carefully poured the freshly brewed potion into the three-tailed lightning fox's mouth. After swallowing the medicine, it took less than a minute for the erratic electrical currents around its body to completely fade away. Its ferocious glare softened into a gentle gaze, and its puffed-up three tails slowly relaxed. Seeing this, Qin Yanren's face lit up with pure joy. Lulu, you're finally cured. The true nature of a three-tailed lightning fox is just this docile. It lay obediently by her side, sticking out its little tongue to lick the back of her hand. Right after that, the fox trotted over to me. It dipped its head slightly and raised its front paws in a little bow, thanking me. I reached out and gently rubbed its head. The fox squinted its eyes, looking like it was absolutely loving it. Luo Sanniang watched in total disbelief. This is incredible, this kid is a miracle doctor. Qin Yanren walked up to me with a sweet, radiant smile. Little brother, thank you so much. You saved my little Lulu. From now on, we're friends. No, wait. From now on, I'm your big sister. With her bold and outgoing personality, she pulled me into a tight hug. Instantly, my face was buried in something incredibly soft. My sweet little brother Xingyu. From now on, no one in Longyan City will ever dare to mess with you. I mumbled weakly. I already have a real older sister. So what if you have a real sister? I'll be your god sister. Makes perfect sense, right? Well, I am pretty handsome and charming. And I've got mad medical skills. It was no wonder Qin Yanren took such a liking to me. That she just had to claim me as her little brother. Luo Sanniang chimed in from the side, eagerly fanning the flames. Hey, handsome, becoming Miss Qin's little brother? You've really hit the jackpot. After that, Yanren and I started chatting. When she found out I made it into the Azure Dragon Academy all the way from a small town, she looked even more impressed by her new little brother. So, what brought you to the beast shop? Looking to buy something? Yanren finally asked the real question. Before I could even open my mouth, Luo Sanniang jumped in. Miss Qin, this handsome young man came to buy some fire attribute nutrients. But since he's from a small town, he's a little short on cash. Now hearing this, Qin Yanren didn't hesitate. She whipped out her bank card and slapped it onto the counter. Bring out the highest quality fire attribute nutrients you have in the shop. Right away, Miss Qin. Luo Sanniang hurried to the back warehouse. A few minutes later, she came back holding 5 vials of fire attribute nutrients. The quality of nutrients varied, and so did the price. These are the absolute best fire attribute nutrients we have in stock. They go for 100,000 apiece. Qin Yanren had all 5 vials packed up and handed them straight to me. Sister, I can't accept this. It's too much. Xingyu, you're my little brother now. Big sister spoiling her little brother is just how the world works. Well, if you insist, I guess I'll just have to accept it. Thanks, sis. I sounded hesitant, but my hand snatched the bag faster than lightning. Luo Sanniang muttered under her breath, rolling her eyes. Yeah, right. So reluctant after safely stashing Yanren's gift. I chuckled to myself. It seems this is the true value of medical skills. It really helps you build those prime connections. Getting to network with more big shots plus, my demon god's eye can see right through a beast's status and health conditions. And even analyze the exact remedy to cure them. This basically means, on top of being a beast tamer, I've also awakened the beast doctor class. Any beast tamer guild out there is desperate for a hybrid talent like me, Xiao Xingyu. Meanwhile, back at the family apartment, Xiao Ruoshui sat at the dining table, looking extremely anxious. The lavish spread of 4 dishes and a soup sitting on the table had already gone completely cold. Why isn't Xiao Yu home yet? Just as she was about to head out and look for her little brother, the front door clicked open. Sis. I took a quick trip to the beast store, picked up 5 top-tier fire attribute nutrient serums. It's to help Black Vanguard evolve. Xiao Ruoshui glanced at my backpack. Fire attribute serums of this quality? That adds up to at least several hundred grand. Where did you get that kind of money? At that point I had to come clean. Well, it's quite a coincidence, actually. I helped a female beast tamer cure her pet's illness. Her name is Qin Yanren. She was so thrilled that she practically adopted me as her godbrother. The money for the fire attribute serums was all paid by her. I suddenly trailed off, a shiver running down my spine. Sis, don't look at me like that. You're scaring me. Normally, Xiao Ruoshui was a picture of gentle and sweet grace, always smiling brightly at her little brother. But right now, her glare was as cold as a frozen tomb. Wow, aren't you something? Going out and finding yourself a new big sister. Where exactly does that leave me? But you're my real sister. She's just a god sister. Xiao Ruoshui straight up threw her apron on the floor and stormed back to her bedroom, locking the door behind her. The sheer jealousy in the air was suffocating. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I just got myself a god sister, so why did I feel the intense, guilty dread of a cheating husband caught red-handed? 3 o'clock in the afternoon, at the central plaza of Azure Dragon Academy. Every freshman and instructor was gathered together for the annual freshman welcoming ceremony. Standing in the crowd, I tilted my head up to look at the main stage. Dean of Students, Lin Kang, wore a bright, generic smile. Welcome, freshmen, welcome to Azure Dragon Academy. This guy Lin Kang was incredibly long-winded. After dragging out the entire history of the academy, he started rambling about every single outstanding alumni. Half an hour dragged by. I was clapping along with the other freshmen on pure, mind-numbing autopilot. Lin Kang finally cleared his throat. Well, that concludes what I have to say. Next up, please welcome our esteemed principal to give the opening address to our new students. The second Lin Kang finished speaking. A cloud-shattering lion's roar echoed from the sky. An absolutely gorgeous, mature woman descended from the heavens, riding a massive winged lion. Principal Sue is here. She really is the most beautiful principal in the entire country. She's stunning. Principal Sue is a 7-star beast tamer. What an absolute badass. She's my idol. As for me, my eyes locked immediately onto her lion-type beast. It was an incredibly imposing male lion, its razor-sharp claws wreathed in violent purple flames. And on its back grew a stunning pair of amethyst wings. It was my first time ever seeing a flying lion. Purple flame-winged lion king. Beast king class. Fire-type beast. My demon god's eye instantly saw right through all of the purple flame-winged lion king's stats. The lion king's master was an alluring, fully mature beauty. Her long crimson hair tumbled down her shoulders, giving off an exotic, captivating charm. This was the principal of Azure Dragon Academy, Su Rian. She was draped in a purple beast tamer's robe, with a shiny 7-star badge pinned to her chest, the ultimate symbol of a 7-star beast tamer. Normally speaking, anyone capable of raising a beast to the beast emperor class even reached the rank of a 7-star beast tamer. The purple flame-winged lion king is only a king-tier beast. So, this woman definitely has other beasts. No powerful beast tamer ever limits themselves to just a single contract. Their strongest beast is usually kept as a trump card, never summoned unless it's an absolute life or death crisis. I can say for sure that purple flame-winged lion king is just Su Rian's second, or maybe even third beast. Her primary beast has to be at least emperor tier or higher. Su Rian stood at the main podium, looking down at the incoming freshman class. Listen up, students. Congratulations on making it into Azure Dragon Academy. But now that you are here, it does not matter if you're the golden child of a wealthy family or some nobody off the streets. You will follow the rules of this academy. Every single one of us freshmen was holding the academy rulebook they had just handed out. Rule number 8, in particular, stuck out like a sore thumb. Rule number 8 read, in the event of a conflict between students, regardless of who is right or wrong, the dispute must be settled through an arena duel. The loser must apologize to the winner. At first glance, this rule seems incredibly unfair. After all, it completely throws right and wrong out the window, which is bound to encourage the strong to just bully the weak. The crowd immediately burst into an uproar. Everyone started complaining. I just let out a quiet laugh. I knew perfectly well that this seemingly unfair rule was actually Su Rian's tough love. Alright, freshmen, go ahead and enjoy the next 3 years of your academy life. 3 years from now, whether you soar like dragons or crawl like worms entirely depends on whether you bust your ass training, or just waste your time here. Finally, I wish you all a speedy journey to becoming high-level beast tamers. Finishing her speech, Su Rian hopped onto her purple flame-winged lion king and vanished over the horizon. Once the freshman ceremony wrapped up, all the new kids headed back to their assigned classrooms. My room was year 1, class 3. The homeroom teacher was a guy named Chen Chinian. Alright everyone, find your seats according to your numbers. My seat ended up being in the very back row, right by the window. Hey, Xiao, how's it going? I'm Wu Shengyu. I turned my head to look at my very first friend here. Man, I've heard all about your epic feats. Your starting spiritual power was only 2 points lower than that absolute monster of a genius, Senior Yi Shuangming. That was about the millionth time I'd heard the name Yi Shuangming. Thanks to my starting spiritual power, my name was constantly being tied to hers. Ah, Yi Shuangming again. The name definitely rang a bell. I think she was a student here at Azure Dragon Academy, too. A second year, actually. She was my senior. Wu Shengyu was a really outgoing, chubby guy. We chatted for a bit and hit it off immediately. The bell for the first class rang right after they handed out the textbooks. Chen Chinian stood at the podium. This semester, we will be covering all 13 of these books during our theory classes. Theory is the foundation of all practical application. If you want to take down a magical beast, you have to understand its habits and its weaknesses. Everyone, open your copy of the Magical Beast Compendium. We'll be starting with Chapter 1. I stared down at the massive stack of textbooks on my desk, a faint smirk tugging at the corners of my mouth. As Chen Shinian droned on slowly at the front of the room, I started tearing through the pages at lightning speed. My demon god's eye came with perfect photographic memory. In under 3 minutes, I had completely memorized and mastered all 13 textbooks. Wu Xingyu, who absolutely hated reading, decided to start passing notes to me instead. Just then, a piece of chalk came flying and smacked right into Wu Xingyu's head. Wu Xingyu, Xiao Xingyu, you two, if you're not going to pay attention, what's with the note passing? Chen Shinian channeled his ultimate homeroom teacher energy and snapped, "You're honestly the worst batch of freshmen I've ever taught." After letting out his frustration, Chen Shinian called out, "Wu Xingyu, you answer this one. What is the weakness of the sky demon lizard?" Wu Xingyu stammered for a good while before blurting out, "It expresses the author's deep emotional feelings." The entire class erupted into laughter. Chen Shinian slammed his hand on the podium. "You little brat, do you think this is a high school literature reading comprehension test? Stand at the back for 3 periods. Xiao Xingyu, what's so funny? Stand up and answer the next question." Chen Shinian wanted to make an example out of him, showing the class what happens when you don't pay attention. "What is the weakness of the sky demon lizard?" "The venom sac under its belly." Chen Shinian was taken aback. "Not bad, kid. You managed to get that right even without paying attention. But don't sit down just yet. Answer this one next. The frost giant crocodile typically inhabits which region?" I answered instantly, without missing a beat. "The Frostfall Lake region in southern Dragon Country, and the freezing waterfall pools beneath the Kunlun Glacier." Chen Shinian looked completely caught off guard. "Alright then, keep going. If you encounter a demon-devouring sky tiger in the wild, how should you respond?" I replied casually, "Bite down on your ID card, and then find a nice, shady tree to lie down under." Chen Shinian frowned deeply. "Why?" "Because the demon-devouring sky tiger is a beast king. It's a mutant class monster. Only beastmasters at 6-star level or above even stand a chance. If a bunch of noobs like us run into it in the wild, we're totally dead meat. So, I bite down on my ID card to make it easier for my family to identify the body. And lying down in the shade keeps the body from rotting too fast." The entire classroom was dead silent after my answer. Everyone stared at Chen Shinian up at the podium. His mouth twitched for a long time before he finally spoke. "That answer is a perfect 10 out of 10. The questions I just threw at you were all from the final chapters of the textbook, and I've barely even started teaching Chapter 1. How did you?" I replied coolly. "I've already memorized all 13 textbooks." "What? We're only 20 minutes into our first class, and this guy's already finished the whole semester's curriculum? That's completely insane. This guy is an absolute monster." Xiao Xingyu, that name sounds familiar. "Oh, right. He's the guy trending on social media whose spirit power-based stats were just 2 points lower than Yi Shuangming's. So far, Yi Shuangming and I hadn't even met face to face. But whenever someone brought up one of our names, the other was bound to be mentioned too. Right then, thanks to my stellar performance in class, Chen Shinian decided I had what it takes to crack Dragon Country's national public ranking of monster geniuses. So, he gave me a VIP library card that allowed 24/7 access. I was super grateful. That library card was an absolute game changer for me. 4 major Beastmaster academies each have their own libraries, and the Azure Dragon Library at our academy housed hundreds of thousands of books on training spirit beasts and fighting off monsters. Among those, one specific category was the most valuable: the combat skill manuals. Most spirit beasts rely on special skills to fight monsters. Some of these combat skills they're just born with, also known as innate combat skills. Take the Hellwind Wolf, for instance. It's got Hellfire Snare and Hellish Roar. But some skills have to be learned later on. As of today, beast taming civilization has been evolving for 300 years. Countless pioneer beast tamers work together, compiling combat manuals one after another. These manuals are strictly categorized based on a beast's elemental attributes and fighting style. Take the Wolf-type Combat Codex, for example. It's tailor-made specifically for Wolf-type beasts. Or the Fire-type Combat Log, strictly for fire elementals. And get this, my teacher, wanting me to quickly boost my strength and build up my knowledge base, actually went ahead and gave me a special exemption for his theory classes. I don't even have to show up anymore. Honestly, hearing that really warmed my heart. In this dog-eat-dog world, only geniuses get that kind of special treatment. But hey, while I can skip theory, skipping practical training is absolutely out of the question. I know how crucial practical lessons are for freshmen. After all, every theory ultimately has to be put to the test in the real world. That's the only way we'll ever stand a chance against those restless magical beasts beyond our borders. Azure Dragon Library. While the other students were still stuck in classrooms going over the first chapter of their textbooks, I used my special privileges to hit up the Azure Dragon Library. Right in the middle of the main hall, there was this massive, rugged pillar. It had built-in bookshelves, packed to the brim with all sorts of dense, obscure texts. Beast Evolution Made Easy. Quick tips for the 2-star Beast Tamer exam. Learn how to handle or type magical beasts in just 3 minutes. Postpartum care for type beasts. Wow, this library's collection is seriously all over the place. Now, my Hellwind Wolf has both fire and wind attributes, so I dug out 2 combat manuals from the shelves covering fire and wind skills. I found a quiet corner and started flipping through them, since my demon god's eye gives me photographic memory and maxed out comprehension. It only took me a single minute to finish both books. Still, if you want a beast to completely master a new skill and use it flawlessly, it ultimately comes down to the beast's own natural comprehension. Thankfully, I had a bottle of comprehension boost potion stashed in my system inventory. Once I feed this to the Hellwind Wolf, its understanding will shoot right up. Not only will it learn skills way faster, it'll even be able to leapfrog and learn high-tier moves. Time flew by, and before I knew it, 2 hours had passed. After blitzing through my 1032nd book, I let out a long breath. It was just about time for school to let out. My sister's probably already waiting for me at the school gates. Xiao Ruoshui refuses to let me eat cafeteria food. She always preps a bento box and brings it right to the school gate for me. Says it's way healthier and more nutritious. Right before leaving the Azure Dragon Library, I grabbed an ultimate guide to dark attribute skills from the shelf. The librarian was a chubby old guy. He had a really kind face, and no one knew his real name. But the whole school just called him Uncle 3. Uncle 3, I'd like to check this one out and take it back to my dorm. Uncle 3 looked totally confused. Xiao, my boy, your beast is a mix of fire and wind attributes. So why on earth are you borrowing a dark attribute manual? What's the point? I just smiled and brushed it off. Oh, just doing some light reading. Uncle 3 didn't press the issue. I had a library card anyway, so checking out whatever book I wanted was totally within the rules. Leaving the Azure Dragon Library, I headed back to the main academic building. I sat in the classroom for maybe 10 minutes before the dismissal bell finally rang. Finally, school's out. Let's hit the cafeteria. I heard there's a new barbecue joint right out the back gates. Let's go grab some skewers. Hell yeah, let's celebrate the start of the semester. We're not going home till we're wasted. Ah, this was the classic, bursting with youthful energy of the first years. Completely oblivious, having not yet suffered the brutal reality of hellish training. Chen Shinian slammed his hands on the desk. Alright, listen up everybody. Starting tomorrow afternoon, you'll be having your very first practical lesson. Go get some good rest, and let your spirit beasts recharge their energy. Prepare for hellish training tomorrow. After a few more words of advice, Chen Shinian left the classroom. Wu Shengyu was the first to rush over, hovering around me with a look of absolute worship. Man, you are literally my idol. It's only the first day of school, and Director Chen actually broke the rules to give you a library card. And he even gave you permission to skip all theory classes from now on. Wu Shengyu kept chattering away endlessly. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry as I walked out of the teaching building with him. Hey, you, I'm heading to the cafeteria. Aren't you coming? My sister is bringing me food. I walked straight toward the academy gates. Out of curiosity, Wu Xingyu watched from a distance. At the academy gates, a beautiful silver-haired woman stood holding an insulated lunch bag, waiting quietly in the wind. Even though she was just wearing plain, simple clothes, it couldn't hide her ethereal beauty and her elegant, gentle aura. Sus. Xiao Yu. I ran over in a few quick strides and took the lunch bag from Xiao Ruizu's hands. Inside was an exquisitely packed bento box, 2 meat dishes, 1 vegetable dish, and an extra dessert. The main focus was definitely balanced nutrition. I was already a dark horse trending all over the hot searches. And a top-tier silver-haired beauty like Xiao Ruoshui was also incredibly eye-catching. The two of us drew a massive wave of stares from the surrounding students. That silver-haired beauty, she seems to be Xiao Xingyu's older sister. Why does the sister have silver hair, while the brother has black hair? Guess they aren't blood-related, huh? This kid's talent is insane, and he came all the way from a small city, too. I ignored the stares from the crowd and started digging into my sister's lovingly made dinner. Sis, your scallion tofu and braised chicken are seriously on par with a 5-star chef. I just can't get enough. In less than 5 minutes, there wasn't a single grain of rice or drop of broth left in the box. Don't choke. Have a sip of chicken soup. Xiao Ruoshui sat right beside me, feeding me the soup with a spoon. The two of us sat there at the gates of Azure Dragon Academy, ignoring everyone else's stares as we laughed and chatted. Xiao Yu, I've noticed there are a lot of pretty girls here at your Azure Dragon Academy. Oh, really? I feel like none of them are as beautiful as you. In my eyes, Xiao Ruoshui was the most stunning woman in the world. Xiao Ruoshui leaned in close to my ear and whispered, "You're 18 now. So, it's perfectly normal if you want to start dating." Sis, what exactly are you trying to say? What I mean is, I wouldn't object to you dating. But, as Xiao Ruoshui made that sharp pivot, she raised her voice slightly for emphasis. Do not date a woman from the Yi family. I was completely lost. The Yi family? I don't even know any women with the last name Yi. I lowered my head, and then a thought hit me. The Yi family. Isn't it Yi Shuangming from the Yi family? I haven't even met the girl. How the hell would we date? Xiao Ruoshui reiterated, just remember. When looking for a girlfriend, it cannot be a girl from the Yi family. Why? Did the Yi family steal our money or something? Or run off with our rice? Because just remember what I told you. Stop asking why. Xiao Ruoshui clearly wasn't in a position to explain, which only made me more confused. My sister has been acting weirder and weirder lately. It was getting late. Ever since I first stepped foot into Azure Dragon Academy, Xiao Ruoshui had already braced herself to deliver homemade lunches to her little brother for all 3 years. Honestly, the cafeteria food at the academy wasn't even that bad. After all, it is one of the top 4 beast tamer academies in the entire country. But how could mass-produced cafeteria meals ever compare to my sister's? Delicious, handmade lunches? I stood there, watching Ruoshui until she completely disappeared from sight. Then, I headed back into the academy. As I was taking a quiet stroll alone across the sports field, I happened to glance up. That's when I saw the massive banner displayed on the giant electronic screen. The text read, "Congratulations to our second-year prodigy, Yi Shuangming, on becoming the youngest 5-star beast tamer in history." The poster featured a photo of a stunning, blue-haired girl. Her features were absolutely flawless, sculpted like a masterpiece crafted by a master artist. Even though it was just a static image, those radiant, starry eyes still gave off a heavy stay the hell away from me vibe. She was the ultimate untouchable ice queen. It was the kind of aura that completely intimidated people, yet secretly made them fantasize about conquering her. So, that's Yi Shuangming, huh? She's definitely gorgeous. With long legs like that, it's a damn shame she's not out pedaling a tricycle somewhere. Still, she's got nothing on my sister. And her chest. Yeah, definitely not as big as my sister's either. Honestly though, objectively speaking, with looks and a figure like that, if Yi Shuangming lived in ancient times, she'd be one of those femme fatales who could bring down an entire empire. Night had fully fallen, and the academy's training grounds were empty and completely silent. At this hour, most of the students had already headed back to their dorms to hang out and play games with their roommates. I was the only one left on the massive field. Black Fang. I activated my beast tamer crest and summoned my Hellfire Gale Wolf. With a piercing howl, he materialized right there on the grass. Having top-tier talent isn't what makes someone scary. What's truly terrifying is when someone with that top-tier talent works even harder than you do. Black Fang, control your breathing, center your energy deep in your core. That's the only way you're gonna master the Gale Burst Fireball. Yeah, just like that. Keep that exact breathing rhythm, and stop jerking your head back out of habit. Completely ruins your accuracy. Black Fang listened perfectly, following my every command as we ran through his new combat skills over and over again. Several hours slipped by. Slowly, a look of real confidence started showing on Black Fang's face. Thanks to my coaching and the boost from the comprehension potion, his speed at picking up new combat skills had skyrocketed. Alright, Black Fang, take a quick breather. We're moving on to the next skill. This one is gonna be one of your absolute trump cards. I reached into my bag and pulled out a heavy combat manual, the complete guide to dark attribute skills. At the same time, I accessed my system inventory and pulled out a dark attribute fusion crystal, tossing it straight into the Hellfire Gale Wolf's mouth. In the dead of night, out on that empty field, one boy and one wolf moved in perfect sync. We drilled the combat techniques over and over again. Every so often, flashes of purple and black afterimages would erupt from the wolf's body. It wasn't until midnight that I finally dragged myself back to dorm 312 to get some sleep. The next morning, I grabbed my library card and headed straight to the Azure Dragon Library. Uncle San, here's the complete guide to dark attribute skills I checked out yesterday. I'm just dropping it off. As a librarian, Uncle San looked at me like I had 2 heads. Kid, this thing is thicker than a dictionary. Are you telling me you actually finished the whole thing in one night? Well, yeah, obviously. If Uncle San knew that I could spend just a single day in his library and blitz through 1,000 books, his jaw would literally hit the floor. I picked out a few new titles that caught my eye, found a quiet corner, and sat down to read. Demon God's Eye, activated. Instantly, all the knowledge from the pages flooded into my brain like a massive tidal wave. But just as I was getting completely lost in the sheer rush of absorbing all that information, a harsh voice shattered the quiet of the library. I'm taking over the Azure Dragon Library today. All you dudes, get the hell out. All the girls, stay right where you are. You're gonna keep me company while I read, haha. I looked up and saw a young guy decked out in designer clothes, striding into the library like he owned the place. Trailing right behind him was a pack of lackeys acting just as arrogant. In a split second, every single guy in the building bolted out the door like they were running for their lives, leaving behind only a few trembling girls with faces pale as ghosts. One of the girls tried to make a run for it, but the jerk grabbed her by the hair. Hey there, cutie, staying to read with me is a privilege. You really think you can just run away? Master Wong, I'm so sorry. I won't do it again. The girl's face was burning with humiliation as she sobbed uncontrollably. Boss, over in that corner, there's still some clueless idiot who didn't get the memo. Wang Yan locked his cold eyes on me and barked. I'm gonna say this one last time. Every last guy get the hell out. The air inside the Azure Dragon Library turned ice cold. Dozens of girls huddled in the corners, too terrified to even lift their heads. But I just sat there, casually flipping through my book, completely unfazed. Boss. That brat clearly doesn't know his place. Let me go teach him a lesson. One of Wang Yan's cronies volunteered, strutting over to my desk with a ridiculous, cocky swagger. Hey, punk, what class are you in? I didn't say a word, couldn't be bothered to waste breath on a nobody like him. Hey, who the hell do you think you are? Stop acting all cool and mysterious. Don't you know Master Wang took over the whole building today? If you know what's good for you, get your ass out of here right now. Uncle San hurried over, tugging at my sleeve and whispering frantically in my ear. Student Xiao, this is no time to be playing hero. You need to get out of here right now. Uncle San, who's the arrogant jerk with the pockmarked face? What's his deal? His name is Wang Yan. He's the son of Vice Dean Wang Dongsheng. I let out a cold smirk. Oh, so his daddy is the Vice Dean. No wonder he's strutting around like that. Uncle San gave me another well-meaning warning. You don't have any connections or backing. Don't mess with this guy. Just listen to me for once, get out of here while you can. Just as Uncle San was trying to shove me toward the exit, Wang Yan flashed forward, blocking my path. He glanced down at the ID badge on my chest. Class 3, Xiao Xingyu, huh? I just gave you more than enough time to get your pathetic ass out of here. Now, you've officially pissed me off. You're gonna drop to your knees and beg for mercy. I kept my expression completely flat. And why would I do that? Because my father is Wang Dongsheng. A loser like Wang Yan would brag about his daddy no matter where he went. Wang Dongsheng was the Vice Dean of Azure Dragon Academy, wielding power second only to Dean Su Rian. On top of that, he was the one in charge of student records. For a poor student like me with zero money and zero connections, Wang Dongsheng had 100 different ways to kick me out of school. Get on your knees and apologize. Wang Yan kept barking in my face. Whoosh. Before anyone could even blink. Kneel, my ass. I didn't waste any words. I suddenly brought my leg up and drove my knee hard straight into Wang Yan's groin. An agonizing scream erupted instantly. His blood-curdling wails echoed all through the first-floor lobby of the library. Mr. Wang, are you okay? Oh man, did his balls pop? Should we call an ambulance? Xiao Xingyu, you bastard. You actually hit me? You're dead meat. Meanwhile, in the teaching building, grade 1, class 3. The bell rang for the end of class. Chen Xinian put down his piece of chalk. Just then, a huge commotion broke out in the hallway. Something's going down at the Azure Dragon Library. I heard Xiao Xingyu from class 3 and Wang Yan from class 1 are going at it. Wait, isn't Wang Yan the Vice Dean's son? Someone actually has the guts to mess with him? Come on, let's go. Let's go watch the show. Chen Xinian sighed to himself. That little punk, it's barely his second day of school. And he's already causing trouble for me. Back at the entrance of the Azure Dragon Library, a massive crowd had formed. Wang Yan, clutching his crotch with bloodshot eyes, let out a vicious growl. Get him, all of you. Break his damn legs. The crowd of onlookers was getting bigger by the second. Just as the tension reached a boiling point, an icy, commanding voice cut through the noise. Brawling on campus grounds? Do the school rules mean absolutely nothing to you? The dean is here. A stunningly mature woman with fiery red hair stepped through the crowd. It was Su Rian, the dean of the Azure Dragon Academy. The arrogance on Wang Yan's face instantly dialed back a notch. Dean Su Rian shot Wang Yan a piercing glare. As the son of the vice dean, you should be setting an example. You should be following the rules, yet here you are, picking fights. What an absolute disgrace. Intimidated by Su Rian, Wang Yan scrambled to shift the blame. It wasn't my fault. Xiao Xingyu need me in the junk first. I was just defending myself. Suddenly, every single pair of eyes in the crowd turned to lock onto me. Su Rian finally noticed me for the first time. What exactly happened here? She demanded. Without batting an eye, I gave her a straight, honest recount of everything that went down in the library. So that's what happened. This Wang Yan is way too out of line. Just because he's the vice dean's kid, he thinks he can harass the girls like that? Xiao, we've got your back. Wang Yan was clearly in the wrong here, and the crowd was totally on my side. Just then, Chen Xinian rushed over. Dean Su, I've looked into the situation. I spoke with the librarian to get the full story. It was indeed Wang Yan who broke the school rules first. Su Rian shot Chen Xinian a cool, detached glance. Instructor Chen, are you playing favorites with your own student? No, absolutely not. Anyone caught brawling on campus will face punishment. And you will both apologize to each other. Wang Yan suddenly grew a spine. Me? Apologize to Xiao Xingyu? Not a chance in hell. Su Rian turned her gaze to me. And you? I don't apologize to dogs. Wang Yan totally lost his mind. Xiao Xingyu, who the hell are you calling a dog? I raised an eyebrow and chuckled. Why so eager to claim the title, huh? The bad blood between the two of us had officially reached the point of no return. Su Rian delivered her final verdict. Since neither of you is willing to apologize, then we will handle this according to rule number 8. Wait, rule number 8? Whenever a conflict breaks out between students, regardless of who is right or wrong, it has to be settled through an arena duel. The loser must apologize to the winner. This is hands down the most complained about rule in the entire student handbook. Because if you take it literally, there is absolutely zero fairness to it. Take my current clash with Wang Yan, for example. Literally everyone is on my side. Which proves I didn't do anything wrong. The one at fault here is clearly Wang Yan. But if we go by Rule 8, and I end up losing to him in the arena duel, I'll have to unconditionally apologize to him just to end the conflict. This Rule 8 is seriously messed up. It's obviously Wang Yan's fault, so why do they have to use a duel to decide who apologizes? I heard Wang Yan's contracted beast is a legendary bloodline 6-clawed sky-rending leopard. Yeah, Xiao Xingyu is going to have a really hard time winning this round. 15 minutes later, the arena plaza behind Azure Dragon Academy's teaching building. This area is an arena specifically built for hosting all kinds of beast tamer matches. If any student violates Rule 8, it gets settled right here in this ring. The arena was surrounded by a massive sea of people. I'm the genius dark horse currently trending everywhere online, and Wang Yan is the son of Vice Principal Wang Dongsheng. Just based on our identities alone, the hype for this duel was already completely off the charts. The entire school showed up to watch. Su Rian sat high up in the stands, overlooking everything. Meanwhile, down in the prep area, Instructor Chen Chinian patted my shoulder and spoke earnestly. Wang Yan's contracted beast has a higher bloodline quality than your Hell Gale wolf. If you lose, don't let it get to you. I asked him back, Instructor Chen. Why are you so sure I'm going to lose? Because of the massive gap in bloodline quality. I made myself perfectly clear, Instructor Chen. I am going to win this arena match in under 3 minutes. Where the hell is this kid getting his confidence? Oh my gosh, Xiao Xingyu is so handsome. What good is being handsome? He's definitely getting beaten to a pulp by Wang Yan today. Wang Yan's beast his vice principal dad personally picked it out for him. Exactly. The 6-clawed sky-rending leopard is a legendary bloodline. I heard Vice Principal Wang dropped a massive amount of cash and pulled a ton of strings just to get his hands on that beast. Before the match even began, the spectator stands were buzzing with non-stop chatter. When it came to right and wrong, everyone was on my side. But when it came to actually winning this fight, everyone favored Wang Yan as the ultimate victor. The referee announced, "Will both parties please enter the arena?" Wang Yan and I stepped into the ring at the exact same time, locking eyes from a distance. Adhering to the classic friendship first, competition second principle, we had to shake hands before the match. Taking advantage of the handshake, Wang Yan lowered his voice. "I'm going to show you exactly what happens when you cross me. In this match, I'm not just going to beat you, I'm going to completely cripple your beast. And make sure you have no place left in Azure Dragon Academy." Wang Yan's face was dripping with absolute confidence and wild arrogance. He didn't take me seriously as an opponent at all. I just gave him a totally harmless smile. "Hey, Wang, does your crotch still hurt?" It would have been fine if I hadn't brought it up, but the second I did, Wang Yan felt that phantom dull ache deep in his groin all over again. Back in the library, I had used every ounce of my strength when I need him right in the junk. The look on your face when you lose and have to apologize to me later is going to be absolutely hilarious. And Wang, the way your pee is going to split into 2 streams from now on. It's also going to be a beautiful sight. Wang Yan's hair stood on end, furious enough to burst a lung. But right at that moment, the referee spoke up both sides, separate by 10 meters. "Summon your respective beasts." The two of us pulled back to distance ourselves. Wang Yan was the first to summon his beast. A magic circle activated. A leopard wreathed in wind blades appeared on the arena. It was absolutely massive. 2 fangs like sharp longswords hung inverted from its mouth. And unlike ordinary leopard-type beasts, this leopard actually had 6 razor-sharp claws. This was the 6-clawed void-rending leopard. Wang Yan's very first contracted beast. Up on the giant electronic screen, the basic stats for the 6-clawed void-rending leopard popped up. Name: 6-clawed void-rending leopard. Level: Tier 1, Initial Form. Bloodline: Legendary Quality. Talent: Mystic Ice Freeze. All attacks carry additional ice damage. Reduces enemy movement and attack speed by 30%. Landing a skill grants a 20% boost to its own movement and attack speed. Attributes: Ice and Wind types. Up in the spectator stands, the students of Year 1, Class 3 sat together. Song Hu and Wu Xingyu, who were both my roommates, were sweating bullets for their good bro, Old Wu. Even though this 6-clawed void-rending leopard doesn't have the word ice in its name, it's still an ice-type beast. Yeah, looking at the type matchups, ice counters fire. Plus, that leopard's bloodline is legendary. That's a whole tier higher than the Hell Gale Wolf's epic bloodline. Brother Yu is at a massive disadvantage here. Theoretically, he doesn't stand a chance. Down on the arena, I activated my beast crest. Summon, Hell Gale Wolf. With a long, piercing howl, the Hell Gale Wolf took the stage, immediately drawing roaring cheers from the crowd. Holy shit, what a badass wolf. Just on looks alone, the Hell Gale Wolf totally wins. Those black flames on its body, that's gotta be the hellfire that deals true damage, right? The Hellgale wolf was entirely shrouded in dark flames, its limbs wrapped in thick hell chains as it threw its head back and roared. The giant electronic screen then flashed the data for the Hellgale wolf. Name Hellgale wolf. Level Tier 1. Initial form. Bloodline epic quality. Talent Hellfire. Ignores all armor, dealing true damage to enemies. Attributes fire and wind types. With the stat panels for both beasts placed side by side, it was incredibly easy to compare them. Wang Yan and I were both fresh-faced first years, both 1-star beast tamers. So naturally, both of our beasts were at the Tier 1, initial stage. But aside from being the same level, the Hellgale wolf had absolutely zero advantage. In terms of bloodline, legendary totally eclipsed epic. And in terms of attributes, ice countered fire. Before the fight even started, if people were placing bets, not a single soul would bet on me. The referee shot a glance up at Su Rian, who was watching from the high platform. Su Rian gave a slight nod. The referee's voice boomed, "Let the duel begin." The battle erupted in a flash. Wang Yan showed zero mercy, fully intending to strike first and draw blood. Ice Flame. Attack. The six-clawed void-rending leopard launched itself high into the air. 6 claw strikes, wrapped in a cold, murderous aura, locked onto the Hellstorm wolf. Black Fang. Evasive maneuvers. In the heat of the fierce battle, time flew by. 1 minute later, the two beasts had clashed for over 18 rounds. The Hellstorm wolf's shoulders, back, and hind legs all showed varying degrees of frostbite. Even its left cheek was covered in a layer of ice crystals. Up in the stands, my classmates from Class 3 were on the edge of their seats for me. Wu Xingyu's face was full of worry. Instructor Chen, does Xingyu still have a chance to win? Chen Xinian stroked the stubble on his chin, his eyes narrowing slightly. Theoretically speaking, Xiao Xingyu has to risk it all in a desperate counterattack. That's his only sliver of hope. But as you've all seen ever since this match started, Xiao Xingyu has been strictly on the defensive. He hasn't let the Hellstorm wolf try to counterattack even once. At this rate, in 1 minute, tops, this match will be over. Chen Xinian was highly experienced. The situation on the battlefield played out exactly as he analyzed. Another minute passed. The Hellstorm wolf stumbled back again and again, howling in pain. Its left front leg was completely frozen solid. It couldn't even lift it. Right then, the commentator, Yang Shu, noticed that my eyes had changed completely. However, my opponent still hadn't realized the gravity of the situation. Xiao Xingyu, I'm going to completely cripple your beast. Ice Flame. Use Freezing Sky Burst. Freezing Sky Burst was the 6-clawed void leopard's ultimate move. Hearing its master's command, the leopard gathered its power and blasted a massive ice sphere from its mouth. The sphere tore through the air, hurtling straight toward the Hellstorm wolf. Suddenly, I roared out, "Black Fang, Shadow Stealth." On the arena floor, the Hellstorm wolf unleashed a furious roar. Its body dissolved into a dark purple mist and sank straight into the ground, leaving nothing behind but a pitch-black shadow on the floor. Yang Shu gasped in shock. Dark attribute. The Hellstorm wolf actually has a third attribute. A dark attribute? Up in the stands, every single student and teacher leapt to their feet.